back this. Hey, thanks for joining me today, everyone. This massive, massive crowd that we have. It is Monday, January 16th. It's a legal holiday, bank holiday, because it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Got a little bit to talk about there. But first, flame on. All right. What's up, Doug? What's up, Natasha? Hey, Jesse. Good to see everyone. And today I figured out how to use the bumpers, so I'm making a new intro. Try to do that today. And just so you know, I will be playing the little bumper with the coffee mug that spins between each story so that hopefully I can kind of reset. And then at the end, I have the old outro that I'm going to play. And after the outro, after the goodbye, I'll stick around and read comments if you want to stick around for whatever reason. Anyway, but let's get started. So I'll start off with this. Hey, thanks. Thanks for hanging around. Today it is Monday, January 16th. I already said that, but today we're going to talk about the new Martin Luther King Jr. statue. And then after that, I want to talk about some things about Martin Luther King Day in general. I want to bring up Gen Z's newest obsession, the flip phone. Comes as no shock to anyone that lives near me, but a lot of people are leaving Oregon. In fact, more retirees are leaving Oregon than anywhere else. There's a tech website that has been using artificial intelligence to write its stories, and they've been doing this for a couple of months. And lastly, I want to talk about Washington State lowering the blood alcohol content level to an insanely low level. We'll get into that. But first, let's talk about this great new statue. Now, you have probably seen it. You've probably seen the jokes about it. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. It was unveiled in Boston, and there's a lot to say about it. So, a 20-foot-tall monument titled The Embrace was unveiled in Boston Common, honoring the legacy of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King. The sculpture, created by artist Hank Willis Thomas, symbolizes the hug the couple shared after Dr. King won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1964. Thomas stated that he wanted to create a sculpture that spreads a message of love and reiterates the King's message of nonviolence and solidarity. The 19-ton bronze sculpture was created from 609 pieces welded together and transported to Boston, where it now sits on the 1965 Freedom Plaza. Embrace Boston, a nonprofit organization, helped provide resources and $10.5 million in funds for the Embrace and the Freedom Plaza. Along with the memorial, Boston museums plan to celebrate Dr. King's holiday with discussions of the new sculpture. And discussions, there are a lot of discussions about this sculpture. Now, that was the, I think the New York Times version of the story, or my synopsis of that. New York Post had a different take. This is a sculpture of Coretta and Martin Luther King Jr. has been dedicated in Boston. However, a cousin of Coretta Scott King, Seneca Scott, has criticized it, saying it looks like a penis and that $10 million was wasted on creating a masturbatory metal homage to his family members. He said that if the sculpture had been shown to anyone in the hood, they would have said no, absolutely not. He also said that the statue is doubly insulting to the black community because many of them are below the poverty line. He suggests the best way to observe Martin Luther King Jr. Day is through action, not through performative photo ops. And I agree, performative photo ops, nobody thinks that that's a really good deal. It's an odd statue. It's an odd statue. Now, one thing that Jesse noted in the comments, he did say that that it's abstract. The statue is abstract, and most people in the comments see that it's it looks like other things that aren't as nice. Why isn't there a clear message about what this statue is? And I think that would help. If there were a clear explanation as to what this statue is, because it looks really odd. And you can't help but think that a lot of people had seen this as it was being developed. And no one spoke up. No one spoke up. All of his friends, all of his colleagues, everyone that saw the mock-up of this from the nonprofit said, oh yeah, that looks great. It really shows a lack of communication about this statue. I don't know. I haven't seen it in person. Often when we see something for the first time, there's a little shock. And sometimes we get used to it, and sometimes it's just, yeah, it is what it is. But that's the statue. What do you think about the statue? I do want to know in the comments what you think about that. And it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. It doesn't have to be focused on the statue. We can talk about the man. Now, over the last 2 weeks of this year, I've been talking a lot about AI, and I need to make it clear that when I say AI, I'm talking about artificial intelligence. In fact, I asked artificial intelligence to write a quote in the style of Dr. Martin Luther King, and this is what it came up with. It said, "The arc," and I'm not going to do his voice, "the arc of the moral universe may bend toward justice, but it is through the responsible development and ethical use of artificial intelligence that we will truly achieve a just and equitable society." So I asked ChatGPT, this artificial intelligence program, to write me a quote in the style of MLK about artificial intelligence. That's what it came up with. Pretty good, I think. I did want to give you a little trivia about Dr. King. He was named after Martin Luther, the Protestant reformer. I think one of the most influential people in the history of the planet, Martin Luther, that is. But what's interesting is his father was a pastor, and his father's name was Michael King. Just Mike King. That was his name. But he went on a trip, and on his trip he was really impressed when he was in Germany, really impressed by what he saw, and he was so inspired by Martin Luther with his 95 Theses that challenged the Catholic Church and ultimately split Christianity into Protestant and Catholicism. When he returned, he changed his name to honor Martin Luther. So he became Martin Luther King Sr., and he also changed his then 5-year-old son's name to Martin Luther King Jr. So he was not born with that name. That was changed when he was a young boy. I think that's a fun, interesting little bit of trivia. I was also thinking about some songs that were inspired by Martin Luther King. There's a lot, but the ones that are big to me. Queen, One Vision. I would play the little clip, but I don't know, the video might get struck down. But you know the song, One Vision by Queen. In the Name of Love by U2. Happy Birthday by Stevie Wonder. Now, you may know this as the black version of Happy Birthday. And that is just the chorus of this song by Stevie Wonder, but it was about Martin Luther King Jr. And if you didn't know, yes, there are two versions of the Happy Birthday song. If you don't know it, just Google it and listen to it. I have heard both of them for a very long time. But that is a Stevie Wonder song that was originally written about Martin Luther King. Neil Diamond's Dry Your Eyes, that was from Last Waltz. And lastly, Elvis Presley, in his comeback special, he closed out with If I Can Dream. And it was his dedication to MLK. I think those are all inspiring songs. When we're remembering him today, it might be nice to put on a MLK playlist. That may help remember the man. Okay. Now, Gen Z has a new obsession, this vintage technology. Gen Z is now obsessed with flip phones. Yeah. The mid-90s era phone that has suddenly become popular with millennials. They're showing up in TikTok videos of young people unboxing them, bedazzling their cases just as earlier generations did, and filming tutorials on achieving a carefree, blurry aesthetic. Through the low-quality camera, the main reason for this trend is because they love the ability to disconnect and use flip phones as a way to reduce the negative effects of social media on mental health. The rate of depression among teens nearly doubled between 2004 and 2019, according to Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. Many Gen Zers are trying to get their peers in on the trend and are encouraging others to purchase flip phones through TikTok and other platforms. That's fun. That is fun. What I don't understand is you can just have your phone, have your regular phone, and don't install all of the apps on it. You don't need all the apps. I don't have apps on my phone. I mean, I have an app for my security system and a couple things like that. I had to put Ticketmaster on my phone so I could use Ticketmaster without having to, have the ticket sent to me. But for the most part, you don't need, if social media is a problem, just delete the app. You can always check it out on your iPad or your laptop when you get home. You don't need it to carry it around with you all day. But I guess you can buy a flip phone and go for that blurry aesthetic. The low-quality picture aesthetic, I guess, is, the newest filter, if you will. It's kind of fun. Don't have much else to say. I do have a couple phones. It's funny, I walk around with a couple phones because I like one phone just to be my MP3 player. It's an old phone, and that way it doesn't run down the battery on my regular phone. You could do that as well, but I don't know, flip phones. I guess we all like new trends, and that's that's the latest trend of the kids. So I guess there could be worse things. Okay. There's a report that more retirees are choosing to leave Oregon than any other state. I live here in Oregon, and it doesn't surprise me. A new report shows that many retired individuals are leaving Oregon for cheaper and potentially warmer states. I don't think it's the temperature that people are leaving from, but that is what it is. The report compiled U.S. Census data to track how retirees moved and left each state. Florida was the most popular destination for retirees, with 12% of moving retirees choosing to move there. Oregon, on the other hand, has the highest percentage of moving retirees leaving the state. 10%. 10% of retirees are out the door here in Oregon. The report also found that 12% of retirees said they were moving due to housing costs, which is the highest it has been since 2014. A separate report from late 2022 found that Oregon was among the top 5 most expensive states to buy a house in. Yeah, that is true. It is very difficult to get a house. And had I not got a house when I did, about a dozen years ago or so, I don't think I'd be able to do it now. I think if you're in Portland, at least, and you're a young person, I don't think you'll ever be able to get a house the way things are right now. So it does make sense that people are leaving the state. It's becoming too expensive. There's other reasons that people are leaving Oregon, leaving Portland. You know, one, I can almost see out the window, Oregon has become, you know, the only state in the country where all drugs are decriminalized. It's been that way for a couple years, and there's been an influx of people that really, really, really like drugs. And they like to live in their cars or tents all over the place, and the city isn't doing anything about that. And yeah, if I was a little old lady and I couldn't walk the sidewalk because there's people camped out on it, I might want to leave too. There's someone living in a car in front of my house right now, and they've been there for a couple of weeks. There's nothing I can do about it. I've put in a report, but I can understand that that may also be a reason, not just that housing is so expensive, but safety is also a big deal. And Portland has become a lot less safe over the last couple of years due to some changes politically. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. Okay. Technology news outfit CNET has been found to be using artificial intelligence to write articles about personal finance without any prior announcement or explanation. The use of AI, artificial intelligence, to write these articles was first brought to light by a Twitter user, and further investigation revealed that the articles have been generated using AI since November 2022. The extent and specific form of AI being used by CNET is not currently known, as the company did not respond to questions about their use of artificial intelligence. The use of AI in journalism raises questions about the transparency and ethics of such a practice, as well as the potential impact of the authenticity and accuracy of news. CNET's editor-in-chief, Connie G, let's just say that, published a post about their use of AI, describing it as an experiment to see if it could help their busy writers, and always had lots of human oversight before publishing. She also said that the disclosure about use of AI has been made more prominent. Wow. So what do you think about that? CNET was just posting stories. I think nearly 100 stories they've posted that have been written by AI. And I think apparently, for the most part, nobody noticed. That tells me that either nobody's reading CNET, that's possible, or maybe the writers aren't very good, or this AI is really good. I've seen some other reports that 90% of all content, like in 3 or 4 years, is online is going to be generated by AI. So it's really important that you hit that like button right now. Let's see if I can actually get up. I need to get this channel bigger before the robots take over everything. So be sure to hit that like button. The show is free, so that means a lot to me if you can do that. But that is shocking. And if CNET can use AI to generate articles, don't you think that BuzzFeed could use AI, that TMZ, that all of these places could use AI? They could just get rid of journalists. I know someone, my brother-in-law used to be a journalist, previous life, and he was working at a place, a small newspaper, and they had 4 writers. And they got bought out, and the new guy came in and eliminated 2 of them. So they just said, just write more. And didn't really respect the craft of journalism. And he said that he had no time to really spend a lot of time looking into things. He said a lot of the time he was just rewriting press releases because he had to crank out so many articles per day that he didn't have, time to really investigate anything. I think that trend will continue. If you can use AI and have less employees just kind of overseeing what the AIs do, what the robots are writing about, I think that that's probably the trend, because it's all about making more money. And the best way to make more money is to have less employees, I suppose. Employees are one of the biggest costs for business. So if you can replace them with a free artificial intelligence, of course, that is what's going to happen. All right. And lastly, Washington, the state, is debating of lowering the blood alcohol content limit to 0.05. Washington legislature will debate whether to lower the state's blood alcohol content limit for drivers from 0.08 to 0.05, modeled after Utah's law. The Pacific Northwest Regional Director for Mothers Against Drunk Driving is expected to testify in favor of the bill, as Washington state is currently 5th in the nation for increase in fatalities relating to drunk driving. If passed, the bill would lower the threshold for a DUI charge, but would not impact how law enforcement interacts with drivers. Utah is currently the only state with a blood alcohol content level set at 0.05. That's shocking to me, because Utah doesn't seem to be, I didn't think of Utah as being like that. I think I would have thought they were they would have been one of the last states to implement such a thing. When I was 21 growing up, I was in New Mexico and in Texas, And I think at the time it was 0.10, which is double what this proposal is. And I know that how Oregon works. If Washington chooses to go 0.05, Oregon will follow, and they'll be 0.05 as well. It's not such a big deal. We really don't have any cops in Portland, so I don't think this is going to get more people arrested at all. I mean, that is one of the benefits of living in Portland is you don't get pulled over, you don't get tickets unless it's from, a speed camera or a red light camera. But outside of that, I don't ever see anyone pulled over for a traffic stop. So I doubt anything would change for the DUI. But I think lowering it to 0.05, that's like 2 drinks. That's 2 beers for most people. Could be 1 beer if you're tiny. I don't know if this will encourage people. I don't know what this will do. I don't see this helping. I think if you want to eliminate DUIs, there are other things that you can do. Here in Oregon, here in Portland, you can start by, we have a light rail, and currently it's not safe. It's not a safe thing to use. So if you wanted to encourage people to not drink and drive, maybe you could make public transportation safe. Put a security guard on the train. That would be a start. Also, you might run the light rail. You might run buses after the bars close, but they don't do that here. It's all public transportation is closed before the bars close. So if the bar closes and you want to take a bus home, well, you can't. You can't do that. So I'm not sure about this new law. I have mixed feelings about it, but let me know what you think about that. And now, what everyone has been waiting for, this is the end bumper. I will encourage everyone, please smash that like button. Let's get 25 likes today. That would be awesome. And I will stick around and read your comments after this. But I'll see you tomorrow. All right. Is anyone still here? Couple people. Hey, how's it going? Let's go through the comments. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me live. The reason that I've done this thing live is I'm trying to break through the algorithm so that the channel can grow. Don't think it's really working yet, but that's the idea. I'm still trying to figure out if I should chop up the show, like record it live and then take down the live stream and then just put up portions. I'm still trying to figure that out. Let's see. Natasha says, that shirt is rather bland considering your usual attire. Well, I was going for the MLK, a bit somber. It is a nice Aloha shirt. We do have some stuff, and it's hard to see with this lighting, but it is black, and there are designs all throughout it, but I don't think it shows up well on camera. Likes to hear the old intro music. I like the old intro music as well. That was actually made by a friend of mine, a really close friend of mine who passed, and he gave that to me for my show. So it means a lot. See, can I scroll down? There we go. Uh, Doug, it's the first time seeing the statue. I know. It's really bizarre seeing that statue. Jesse says, but a very large penis, no doubt. It is a girthy statue. It is absolutely a thick, thick statue. So I think some people would be pleased with that. Melt it down, make bullets. Surely they could use them later or send it to Ukraine. That's a good idea. We send everything to Ukraine anyway. Why not? Why not that? Natasha said she'd change her name as a 5-year-old if that were possible. I think Natasha's an awesome name. I think that's an awesome name. I've never thought about changing my name. Tom just kind of works. Growing up, I was Tom or Tomas. Never really a Tommy. But I don't know. Maybe I could be a Tommy. Who knows? Jesse, I listened to Make Time by Jason Knapp. A couple of tech company product managers talk about techniques, recapture their time, strip down phones, notifications off, and basically ways to avoid tech. That is true. I tell you, I live a notification-free lifestyle. I don't get any notifications on my phone. The only thing that I get, well, first of all, I have everything turned off as well. But the only thing that will even appear on my phone are text messages. I don't even have my email connected to my phone. So I don't get any of those. The only thing that I do get is something from my security system will alert me if something goes off. But other than that, that's it for me. AI is automating so many jobs. This is Jesse. He says, I work in a large tech company, but surprised with the latest. Whoever can leverage it will benefit, mainly companies, but also some people working 2 or 3 jobs with AI. That is true. You might be able to really hustle and use AI to get more work done. I wonder what the BAC tends to be for alcohol-dependent folk, you know, the ones who have to drink or they get jittery. I don't know, but 0.05 is really low. 0.05 is really low. Essentially, you probably shouldn't drive after drinking anything if it's 0.05. And I don't trust the breathalyzers anyway. I think that those are too easy to rig. So the best thing is just to avoid it altogether. Topic for later, parts of Oregon seceding. Yes. Yes, perhaps parts of Oregon, but with the greater Idaho project may secede. We'll see. I think it'd be cool, but it wouldn't be part of where I live. Anyway, that's it today. Let me know what you think. I do appreciate everyone that leaves a comment and hits the like button. It really does make a difference, I think. But I really appreciate it. I will have another live program for you tomorrow at noon. Have an awesome day. Peace.